Hey you guys, today I'm here with Ryan McCartan. We're here for another episode of Broadway Time at Carmine. To start off, what has it been like joining the cast of The Great Gatsby? I read somewhere that you wanted to be an English teacher for a minute.
I did, yeah.
So I'm sure that this is like feeding the English teacher inside you.
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, my English teacher who taught me The Great Gatsby was able to come see me in this show.
Oh, wow.
I had her backstage. We cried. It was very emotional and very touching. Yeah, I went to school for like 60 days because I had college. I had really convinced myself that being in the arts was impractical, and so I was going to go be an English teacher. And I promptly decided that I would rather fail trying at something I love than succeed at trying something I hate. So yeah. I dropped out of college and pursued this, which I'm very grateful for. That being said, though, you know, my father was a high school principal. 3 or 4 of his brothers are in education. Their father, my grandfather, was in education. So education is very important in my family, and I loved school, I loved English, and specifically I loved The Great Gatsby.
Really?
That unit, the book, I remember my paper, it was all about the green light and what I thought it represented. And when I saw that they were turning it into a musical, I just thought, you know, oh, what a fantastic idea, good for them. You know, nowhere on my radar was it a possibility that I would be a part of it in any capacity, certainly not as Jay Gatsby himself, and being part of it has been a dream.
Yeah, so what was it like when you found out that you could possibly be playing this role? Like, what was the audition process like, and then what was it like when you were offered the role? What was that reaction like for you?
Yeah, so we got a call kind of out of the blue that I had kind of been approved. I believe 1 or 2 of the producers had seen me in an audition for something else that I was wrong for, but thought, wait a minute, that could be our next Gatsby.
Really?
And so the call was sort of something along the lines of like, we want to meet to make sure that we all gel, which I have enormous respect for. I would so much rather have a meeting before a straight offer. Because if you just offer it to someone and then they turn out to not be the best, then you're stuck with them. So I was really glad that they wanted to gel with me and I wanted to gel with them. I had huge respect for that.
Right.
But that's what it was. It was a meeting, and contingent on the meeting going well, it was an offer. And I first asked my agent if it was a mistake. I was like, me? I don't know. I didn't see it for myself. I mean, I think Jay Gatsby, the fictional character, and Jeremy Jordan, the actual man, are both so iconic.
Yeah.
And, you know, despite what some mean TikTok comments may say, I don't walk around thinking of myself that iconic all the time. I actually am very insecure. And so I don't know. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And then I started really diving into the material and doubled down on the fact that there was no way, because I was like, I can't sing this. And then I saw the show, and I saw Jeremy walk up onto that platform, and I saw it roll down during passes catching up to me, and I was like, oh shoot, I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. And so, you know, it was a lot of come to Jesus moments with my voice coach, and working very closely and collaboratively, to their credit, with the directing staff to make sure that we were doing it smart and effective and my way. And I'm eternally grateful that there was so much permission for me to step into this position without having to evoke any sort of pantomime. That, like, you know, they didn't want a Jeremy Jordan impression. They didn't want a Leonardo DiCaprio impression. It could be a living, breathing man with my opinions and sensibilities woven into the tapestry of who we ended up creating to be my Gatsby. And as I say, I'm eternally grateful that was the permission that was granted to me, because I think all of the insecurity that I was feeling about stepping into it vanished when I was told so insistently that you get to do it your way.
Yeah. I must say, and this might sound a little crazy, Ryan, I've seen The Great Gatsby, I think 7 times now.
That's not crazy.
Which was not on purpose. Like, I think you see a show once or twice, that's enough.
Sure.
But one of my friends is obsessed, and so we found our way back to the Broadway theater many times.
Yeah.
And I love your interpretation of Jay
Thank
Gatsby.
you.
It's not what was done before.
Right.
You kind of found your own thing, and that was really enjoyable.
Right.
What was it like finding that for yourself? I mean, the way you sing the songs are completely different, and it was really nice to see that. What was that like for you, finding that for yourself?
Well, I guess I will say, I would love to take credit for it, but I don't think I deserve any. Because top to bottom, the creative team, whether it's Jason Howland, the composer, being very insistent on, no. Yes, I know that I wrote it, and I know that the album sounds like this, but what feels good to you? Let's change things. And to his credit, he did that with me. He did that with Sarah Hyland when she stepped in as Daisy. He did that with Lynette when she stepped in as Myrtle. Aisha when she stepped in as... I've seen Jason change the score for different performers. Wow. Every single time a different performer has shown up. And he did it in London with that cast, and I believe is doing it in Korea now. And so, whether it's the director's sort of team making sure that dramaturgically it's specific to me and comfortable for me, the way that I get to sing the show, I'm given permission from the composer who is saying in real time, it's okay if you do it this way, what feels good to you. So that authenticity, I would love to take credit for it. I would love to tell you I went into the room and I said it's my way or the highway, but I didn't. I walked into the room and they said it's your way or the highway.
Yeah.
They were insistent upon giving me that permission, and so I think my whatever successes my sort of version of Gatsby accomplishes artistically, I think a lot of the credit is owed to the creative team of this process. They are not paint by numbers at all.
Yeah.
They're very, very generous that way. Whoa. Who's gonna eat this? It's not just us.
I fear you could feed the whole cast of The Great Gatsby with...
Well, I guess I'm taking
the
boxes.
serving sizes right here. This is incredible. Oh my God.
Nuts.
It's nuts. It's always a ton of food.
Girl, I'm gonna be bloated.
Oh yeah.
There's a big trend of girlfriends and boyfriends trying to match each other's pace while they're eating.
I think so,
You see
yeah.
this trend?
Yeah.
I just thought it was so the pressure of oh, okay, they've eaten that much, I have to eat this much.
That's us right now.
Yeah, exactly.
At this Carmine's
exactly.
meal. So Ryan, what I think is really cool, and I have to say for me at least, obviously I saw you on the Disney Channel growing up. I was always like, oh, it's Ryan McCartan, it's Diggy, right? And then as you flowed more into Broadway, I was like, wait, is this what he does really? And then I had a moment recently when I was just doing research on you. You started when you were 7. Mm-hmm. You were a Disney kid, a Jimmy's kid. Mm-hmm. Then you did Broadway, you did film, TV. I mean, you've done so much already in life. How does that feel? Because you've been doing it for forever. How does it feel now to have done a few Broadway shows and really have dipped your toe in everything?
Yeah, I'm 32 and I started when I was 7, so I can say to a lot of people, probably including you, I've been doing this longer than you've been alive.
Yeah.
And that feels like something old people say. And so I think I have to simultaneously be proud of the breadth of my career and also acknowledge that I'm old now, but older.
Right.
But I have been in this for a long time, and I'm grateful. Immensely grateful that I've been able to keep myself floating and with very few exceptions, have art be the thing that has paid every single bill in my life. It's really special, to your point, to be able to experience so many different sects of performing.
Yeah.
I had a YouTube channel. I was a Twitch streamer. I have done like brand deals on Instagram and TikTok. I've been on Broadway. I've done really exciting regional gigs at the Guthrie and the Lyric Opera, TV, film, independent movies, studio, like all different types of things, and what that has. The I guess what I'm trying to say is the more sort of surface area you get to explore, the more you realize you want to keep pushing the edges. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at it being like, okay, I've never done like a big voiceover thing, so I really want to dive into that space.
Yeah.
I've produced and released records, but like I still feel like touring kind of a cabaret act and making a live album. I mean, there are a lot of different things still that I haven't been able to explore, and I think that's really one of the most exciting things about the arts, is how broad of a net you can really cast if you're hungry enough, and no pun intended. And the more you do it, the more you learn how much there is to do, because you're constantly surrounded by other artists who are equally as hungry and have had access to so many different opportunities you never would have even thought of. Then makes you curious, and then feeds that hunger. So it's been an incredible career. I thank my lucky stars every day for how unique it's been, in the sense that it has really been quite diverse, and it makes me crave that artistic diversity all the more.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, other than Halloween candy when you're 7 years old, what has fueled your career, right? You've done all these different things. What has fueled that passion for the arts, other than the candy when you were 7?
I love that you know that story. A lot of colleagues of mine say that they hate watching themselves. And I love watching myself. Not because I think I'm good, but because I am exposed to all of the ways that I could have done better. I love being able to watch an old episode of Liv and Maddie, or watch back the Rocky Horror Picture Show, or watch the illegal bootlegs you're not supposed to be taking of The Great Gatsby.
Which we see. Everybody sees it.
And I watch them because it's lovely to sort of have that, okay, I try not to be too self-judgmental, but okay, this is where I am right now. And I see evidence of lessons that I've learned. That makes me very proud, and I see areas of opportunity for me to expand. And I think one of my favorite things, albeit it's quite frustrating, but one of my favorite things about the arts is that they are impossible to master.
Yeah.
So right as you start to get a handle on A, B, and C, you expose X, Y, and Z as totally new areas for you to improve.
Yeah.
And I think being better than last time has always been the motivating force to participate in art next time.
Absolutely, I love that.
No.
Well, this is just staring at us. What I think I love most about The Great Gatsby is that obviously we have the Gatsby story, but also the Broadway spectacle. What is it like taking that classic literature and then adding all things amazing about Broadway to it, for you?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, that's something I would love to take credit for, but I don't deserve any. The creative team and original cast, I believe, was solely responsible for what it actually took to conceptualize and actualize what it means to turn a book into a Broadway musical, and not just any Broadway musical, because it is like that classic, glitzy, glammy, modern Broadway musical.
Yeah.
And what I will freely admit is that replacing, I just got to enjoy the fruits of labor that I didn't participate in. I mean, it was already set for me.
Yeah.
And obviously, Scoreboard, the show does so well, like set very well for me. As far as what I have to think about with the character, taking this character out of a book, but also for a lot of people taking a character out of a movie, because like I think, there aren't a lot of people who read The Great Gatsby freely.
Yeah.
It's like required reading in
For school for
yes.
something, yeah.
And a lot of people, they were forced to read it in English class, and then still actually really ended up liking it, and that's great. But still, it's a lesson. It's not like I'm picking up Twilight, for fun.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people actually have more of a relationship with, I feel like I'm spitting food everywhere. I feel like there's food in my teeth. I feel like there's more of a relationship that people have with Gatsby from the movie. And so it's like, okay, this character exists in a book, but maybe became a little bit more tangible through movies, but now here I am doing it live on stage in a completely separate medium. And the two sort of big things that I thought about in terms of sort of like tools that I could exploit to make that a little bit easier. One was, I could try to sort of become not even who I believe Jay Gatsby is, but who I think the audience wants to see Jay Gatsby as. Or I could take the parameters of who this man is and try to make him as much like me as I can.
Yeah.
In other words, make it like as authentically human as I can, given the circumstances that he is a larger-than-life character as it is, in a larger-than-life medium like theater. And that, I think, made my job a lot easier because I was already given so much permission to do it so individually that following that mandate from the creative team and that impulse that I had made what would have been a really big bite a lot more manageable.
Yeah. They gave you all this.
Correct.
And we had this.
I
small
had
plate.
this.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I think, you think of who Jay Gatsby is in the context of the musical itself, and there's something really interesting that happens because in the book specifically, and I think also in the movies, although I don't know that for sure, but in the book specifically, Gatsby only exists through Nick's narration. Mm-hmm. So we never see him alone. And in the musical, we see him alone, I think, 4 times.
Yeah.
And that is a brand new experience of who this man is. Because when it is a performance when Nick is in the room or when he's at one of his parties, or it's even a performance for Daisy, the person with whom he should be the most intimate and the most vulnerable. There's still a performative aspect to him because he feels like he has to be something for her. But when he's truly alone, the deep insecurity of who this man is, and obviously gets to come through. And as I said at the beginning of this interview, insecurity is something that I can tap into very easily because I'm a pretty insecure guy. And so that was another really exploitable tool to sort of be like, okay, I could think of this in a really big way, or I could zoom in on the bite-sized pieces that are far more manageable and make him, I think, far more human. And ultimately, I think the most universal experiences as someone who is watching theater are experiences that are unique, human, and individual.
Yeah.
And once I started focusing on that, all of the pressure of this is a book, this is a movie, Leonardo DiCaprio, all of that melted away. And then it was just listening to what was happening in front of me, reacting accordingly, and really exploiting and sinking into those moments where I got to be alone.
Yeah, I love that. No, I love all the different themes like American Dream and all that. But what I really love is that it takes place in New York. We're in New York. You've worked in New York for a long time. What is it like doing a story about New York in New York?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, there's nothing There's nothing better than a New York love letter. I mean, whether it's this musical, I shot an independent film last spring. It all took place in New York, and it was very much about New York. Like, I love New York stories, and there's something that's really like infectious about doing something in a place it's about, which, I think maybe sounds a little like duh, but, listening to them talk about going up to Sugar Hill and being like, oh, I've been there, and coming into the city to go to the plaza and being like, I know where they are right now. This is tangible. This is actual. We have a cast member who lives very close to what the geographical East Egg, West Egg sort of Long Island Bay would actually be in real life, and went there for a beach day and just sort of had a moment of like, wow, here we are. That's just an extra layer on what is already a fantastic cake. I think all interviews should take place over a meal.
Food, right?
Yeah, girl.
It's like an incentive. Like, we'll talk to you, and we'll feed you. It's a give and take.
Talking and eating, those are my two favorite things.
Right? So for you, Ryan, what has been the most surprising or rewarding thing about doing The Great Gatsby on Broadway?
I think that because I had such a deep reservation to even do this role in the first place, based solely on my own lack of faith in myself, if we're being honest, a perpetual source of pride and surprise is getting done with a hard week and being like, oh my God, I just did that.
Yeah.
I'm 5 months into my contract. I've done the show now probably at least 200 times. And some things have gotten easier in ways. Some things have actually gotten harder in ways, because the more that I learn about who he is, and the more that I become close with my castmates, and the more that this becomes habitual, it almost becomes sacred, which means the stakes are higher, which means you want to dive in further. And theater's hard. And so, there are times where you get to that Saturday night show and you still have 2 more, and it's like, how am I going to do this? And then you do, and you remind yourself what you had convinced yourself you aren't capable of. And you put that together with what you literally just accomplished for the 200th time. And it's so gratifying and surprising, like, whoa. And it's not just me, like, okay, I am capable of this, but like, we are capable of this. Like, we keep coming together, we keep making it happen. A bunch of people are out because some people are injured and some people are on vacation, and we have to stitch a show together, and people are doing like 3 crazy split tracks, and our dance captains are working like crazy to make the show make sense, and you get out there and it does make sense, and you talk to the people afterwards, and they just had such a good time and it meant so much to them, and all of that is just, it's such an overwhelming experience that never stops being surprising.
Yeah.
How emotionally enriching, albeit exhausting, it is.
Obviously, but it must be exhilarating.
Yes.
I love it.
And you would think that would kind of wear off eventually. It hasn't, and that's a big surprise.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going to play Broadway Time Quick Round.
All right.
These are some rapid fire questions, okay?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Favorite Broadway show?
Oh, ever?
Ever.
Spring Awakening.
Dream role?
Bobby and Company.
Funniest moment on stage?
I forgot the gun in Heathers.
Oh.
And I came out with nothing, and then just walked off stage for 2 beats of silence, and then came back on stage with the gun. Kind of a pivotal prop in Heathers.
You might need that.
Yeah, forgot the gun. That's That was rough.
Pre-show ritual.
At half hour, I go down to get my hair done. At 15, I start doing a vocal warm-up. At 5, I put on my suit. And at places, I go out there and start.
Favorite vocal warm-up?
I have a tape from my voice teacher that she like taped a warm-up for me. I do that every single day.
Favorite song to perform in the show?
Oh, God. It's a very close tie between Past and For Her, but it's For Her.
Broadway inspiration.
Like a person?
Yeah.
Joshua Henry.
Dream Broadway co-star.
I mean, Joshua Henry, but also like Rachel Ziegler.
Oh, yeah. Favorite place to relax in New York other than Carmine's?
Other than Carmine's, of course. There's a cafe called Berlina that like no one is ever at. They have tons of seating. I have the bathroom code memorized. I don't know if their food is good. I've never gotten it. Sorry, guys, but I always just go in and get a coffee, and then I go up and if I like have time to kill, I know that there's a bathroom. I know that there's a place to sit. I know that there's caffeine, and it's like right on 8th Avenue. Dreams.
I love that. And lastly, best piece of advice you've ever received?
There are many roads up the mountain, but there's only one mountain top. So fix your gaze on the summit of your desire and climb.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Ryan. We've had an amazing time. I'm so glad we finally were able to do this.
100%.
First time at Carmine's. I hope it was everything you wanted and more.
And more.
Yes. You guys can go catch Ryan in The Great Gatsby over at the Broadway Theater as Jay Gatsby himself. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This was great.